What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for yet more content for you. And today we're going to be looking at country by country, seeing what Spurs players have made it, what Spurs players have missed out on the Euros. I mean, there's been quite a few notable absentees, hasn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. The deadline for all the squads was yesterday for everyone to register their 26-man squads for Euro 2020. So now that they're all in, we thought we'd go through all the Spurs players who have made it in, who's Spurs players who won't be going, and see if we agree with the selections.
Yeah, so let's start off with England. We're going to look at England first, and obviously you can see on screen now Harry Kane has made it, obviously England captain, and 3 exclusions in terms of Harry Winks, Eric Dyer and Dele Alli. I mean, out of those 3, the biggest surprise one was Eric Dyer, but again, it's not really that much of a surprise, is it?
It's just as much as a surprise in the sense that he was a big part of the World Cup in 2018. He's been playing in pretty much all the squads leading up to the tournament. He's been involved in all of them. And the fact the biggest surprise, I think, for me is the fact he didn't even make the 33-man squad, not let alone the 26. So they've gone for Maguire, Stones, Cody and Mings, which...
With 4 right backs.
Huh?
And 4 right backs.
Exactly, but they've all had better seasons than Dyer. I think even Dyer will probably admit that. Well, actually, probably he wouldn't admit that, but Southgate knows it. And I think it's pretty clear to everyone. So he's probably the most unlucky. Winks has badly fallen out of favour in the last year. I think if we're talking about a year ago, there's a good chance he would have gone. But unfortunately, this year's been disastrous for Winks.
Yeah, out of those 3, you would say Eric Dyer's made it up to every single squad until this one, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And Harry Winks and Dele Alli have not been in any squads for a while.
I can't remember the last time Dele was in a squad. Winks, I think
maybe
about a year ago.
Maybe like right at the beginning of the season he was in the squad. But that's about it, probably.
Potentially, I don't even think so, to be honest. But Dele, he's also, I think he's also been out probably since... Wow, when's the last time he was in the squad? Because obviously he's had the World Cup. Since the World Cup, when's he been in the squad? Because he's been in really poor form ever since. So he's also been one that has been completely out of favour. So not a total surprise. But also, I think the biggest surprise we're looking at this is we've only got 4 England players.
Yeah. Last World Cup, we had 6?
We had, you can
5
add
or 6
Trippier there as well. Yeah, so we had 5 in the squad. All of those, oh no, Winks wasn't there, but we had Trippier and we have another one. Can't remember off the top of my head.
Trippier, Kane, Ali, Dyer.
There's another one. We had 5. I'm pretty sure.
Was Winks not there?
No, Winks wasn't there. He wasn't at the World Cup.
And Kyle Walker, no, he wasn't at us.
Oh yeah, Kyle Walker was at the Euros. We had 5 at the Euros. Maybe it was 4 at the World Cup.
All right. Well, look, that is the kind of.
Oh, Danny Rose.
Danny Rose, obviously.
Yeah, Danny Rose. He was the left back. So. Look, we don't have that many England players, and even after this summer, I could even be cut down even shorter by the way things are going. So that's interesting. But good luck to Kane.
By next time, we might have none. Gary Kane might be leaving.
Kane as well. You're absolutely right. You could have none. So there you go. But yeah, I think it's absolutely deserved. And looking at England's group, Croatia, Czech Republic, and Scotland. I think it's harder than it looks.
I think that Croatia is obviously going to be the hardest out of the lot. I think Czech Republic...
They're no walkover.
That's what I was about to say. I mean, on the face of things, you might think that it's an easy game, but it's actually not. They've got a lot of good players there, Czech Republic, and they're going to be a tough nut to crack. When you look at the Czech Republic players in the Premier League this season, I know Soufal and Souček have had really big really big seasons in the Premier League this year, and that's like the kind of ilk that their squad is built in. Very hard-working players, big players, and they're going to be tough to beat.
And then Scotland, that's never going to be an easy game. However bad, even when Scotland have the worst players, it's never an easy game because of the passion in that game. And they don't have the worst players. That's what I'm about to say. McTominay's in there. They got some other pretty decent players.
that's about as far as it goes.
Billy Gilmore, he's not bad.
Yeah, but when you put them up against an England
obviously,
side, we should be walking over
on paper. We're the best team in the group. I'm just saying, for England versus Scotland, it's never an easy game.
Yeah.
It's never going to be an easy game. So, as much as the group, actually on paper, we're favourites, I think it's going to be a lot tougher than we envisage.
Yeah, I completely agree. But that's the England ones. Let's move on to France. And France, Hugo Lloris and Moussa Sissoko have been called up, with Tanguy Ndombele missing out. I mean, what sort of manager puts in Sissoko ahead of Ndombele? I mean,
it's incredible. Really is incredible when you think about how bad Sissoko's been this season, how good Ndombele's been for us, that a manager looks at could scout them both and think, I'd rather take Sissoko. I mean, it beggars belief, but we all know Deschamps is a big fan of Sissoko. He likes to play him in like that defensive winger role where he really does a lot of the tracking and helps out the fullbacks and makes sure that the team are defensively solid. That's the question mark, I guess. That's the question mark, because for Spurs, he's definitely been out of sorts for a while. But whether Deschamps still believes in him, seems so. Tongi is unlucky, but then... No, he is unlucky, I think, because I think he's had a good season and he's obviously got amazing quality, but I think he's rather the likes of Rabiot and Tolisso. I think he likes them a bit better. So, and obviously Pogba's going. So Tongi's the unlucky man.
Do you think Tongi's looking at that at all and being like... I need to move on to kind of knuckle down my place in the French squad, or is he just looking at it like I just need to work harder to make it?
That's how he should be thinking. He does need to work harder to make it. I don't think he's thinking I need to leave. I think he shouldn't be thinking that anyway, because he doesn't need to leave to get back in the French squad. Just look at Sissoko. So I think I don't think he'd be. I don't think he'll be thinking that, but he might be.
Do you think that if he's in a bigger side like a PSG, like a Real Madrid, like anyone of that ilk, do you reckon he's got more chance to make it?
I think all players in those kind of clubs will naturally have a better chance. I think so, potentially, but I don't think he would have been nailed on even if he was there. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting. I just can't get my head around that. Sissoko over Ndombele.
It's a real tough group. They're in the group of death with Germany and Portugal and Hungary as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that group pans out.
Yeah, I mean, all three could still go through because there's 4 third-place teams that can be going through.
Good point.
But it's also important to note, if we win our group, we play second in that group. So if we win our group, as it stands, it looks as though finishing second or third could be our best route out of our group. But finishing top, we could be playing France. Who is it? France,
Germany, or Portugal?
Exactly. And you got to say, France and Portugal definitely 2 of the favourites to win the tournament. All of them actually, all of them. But let's move on to Wales. The Welsh Mafia all in: Gareth Bale, Joe Rodon, and Ben Davies. Ben Davies was struggling for fitness, but it looks like he's going to make it. And obviously Gareth Bale holding off all talks on his future till after the Euros. And some high words spoken about Joe Rodon this week. Yeah,
he's saying that he reckons Joe Rodon could be one of the top Premier League defenders for years to come, which is very high praise from Gareth Bale. And then obviously Rodon's been talking about how much of a help Mourinho's been to him over the past year and how he's get on ready to be a top-level defender. So... look, I think they've clearly struck up a bit of a relationship. I watched a video that Spurs released on them too, and you could see they have a bit of a friendship going on between Bale and Rodon, and them 3 are clearly close. But look, big tournament for Gareth Bale, could potentially be his last international tournament if Wales don't make the World Cup. So it's a very, very big tournament. He's going to be their main man, and their group is very difficult. Very difficult. It's unlikely how they'll make it out with Turkey, Switzerland, and Italy.
Turkey, Switzerland, and Italy.
And
wow.
I think they're the 4th best team in that group.
They probably are, but I think that when you cast your mind back to the last time I think they got to the semis or the quarters of the last Euros,
Euro 2016,
and everyone wrote them off from the beginning that year as well. So I think if they show their Welsh passion, I think Gareth Bale as well. I mean, I think he's the key to everything they got. So I mean, if he has a good tournament, they can make it out of that group.
I think Turkey shouldn't be underestimated.
No, Turkey are a good side.
Turkey a very good side. And then Switzerland always, I swear, Switzerland every year, they're always
a tough nut to crack.
They never go that far. Yeah, they never go far, but like they always put in good games. They always like even have a shock or something, but they never kind of make it far. But they're always a good team. Switzerland.
Who's Italy?
And obviously Italy.
I think Italy is the first game. First game.
Yeah, because Turkey, Italy is the opening game, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you're right. So
Switzerland must be their first game.
If Wales get off to a win against Switzerland, they'll fancy their chances of going through.
Yeah, but it's going to be. Then they could finish third still. Maybe third could be their best bet.
All right, let's move on to Belgium, a country which we usually have quite a lot of players going, but we only got one Belgian player in the squad now in Toby Alderweireld.
Yeah, Dembele, Chadli, Vertonghen
all gone. Jan Vertonghen has been called up, obviously, and it's mad for me to look at their defenders. Yeah. Look at their defenders. Toby Alderweireld, Dedrick Boyata, Jason Denayer, Thomas Vermaelen and Jan Vertonghen.
Incredible.
I mean, how is Vermaelen, first of all, still going with them?
How old is he? Like 35,
He
36?
plays for like Vissel Kobe in Japan.
It's ridiculous. But that shows the quality coming through it. I mean, that's what I said. I said I think Belgium's time might have gone in terms of they had, they had a golden era where they had Company, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, like a proper back three in their prime. And then they had Hazard on top form. They had all these players on top form. But unfortunately, they kind of have gone through quite a few years now where I know they got to the semis of the World Cup, but they didn't really pull up any trees at the Euros. They got knocked out to Wales, actually, the last Euros. They kind of underachieved. And now Hazard's aging, Mertens is the wrong side of 30.
Nasser Chadley's still being called up.
Yeah, Chadley's still being called up, you know what I mean? I think unfortunately, obviously, they've still got De Bruyne, they've still got Tielemans, they've still got a very good squad. It's just all their players are kind of aging a bit, and they're not kind of in their prime.
I wouldn't even say they've got a good squad. I think they've got like half a good starting 11. Let's say when you're looking at their squad, out of the squad, look, Dries Mertens aging. How old is he? He's like 32.
He still had a good season though.
He has had a good season, but 32 years old. Trossard of Brighton.
Yeah,
not exactly a world-class player. Jeremy Doku of Rennes, Eden Hazard, who's had a terrible couple of years. Lukaku, you got to say he's on top of his game at the moment. Benteke and Batshuayi, that's their forwards. I mean, that's not great, is it? And when you look at their midfield, they put Castagne in the midfield, who's had like hot and cold season with Leicester. Nasser Chadli, who's playing at Istanbul. Yannick Carrasco, how's he done this season?
Atletico hasn't quite been that great,
but
he has won the league.
Kevin De Bruyne and Torgan Hazard are both good players, obviously.
And Tielemans as well.
And Tielemans. And then apart from that, you've got Thomas Munir playing for Dortmund, Dendoncker of Wolves, Pratt of Leicester. I mean...
They're not bad, but they're not...
They're not world beaters, though, are
they?
Hans Van Kan. I mean, I just don't...
I don't think it's a great... It's definitely not as good as it used to be. I still think it's a solid squad. And I think they'll get out of their group. But
England should be beating this.
We have a better squad than them right now.
We should. And I know we had that conversation a few weeks ago, and I think you were absolutely spot on when you were saying it about Belgium. But let's move on. Denmark. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg obviously going, the only Spurs player in the Danish squad.
He's in the same group as Belgium, so they're going to be playing each other. Pierre,
so Toby up against Pierre.
Yeah, so they should make out the group, but then Russia, I guess, have obviously decent shout. Finland probably won't make it. So, Pierre. He could be in for a big tournament. He's a big player for Denmark.
It should be Denmark-Belgium going through in that group.
And Denmark beat England in the Nations League not long ago, I believe.
I think they won and lost, yeah.
Yeah. So they're not a bad team either. If Eriksen's on top of his game, he can also be a big player for them. So always another one with the Danish comp. Don't write them off. But yeah, there you go. Højbjerg obviously going. He's always going to be going in that game.
And Spain, which is interesting. Reguilon completely misses out. I mean, if he would have carried on his first half of the season form all the way through, surely he would have been going.
Yeah, would have easily made it. But unfortunately, he let his form dip. Jose Gaya and Jordi Alba are all very top quality left backs and always likely to go if the spots are open like that. So Reguilon unfortunately just didn't have it in him to keep up his form, and he won't be going. But I can see him going to a tournament in the future. But Spain's squad looks really poor.
Let's go through it. So in goal, they've got David De Gea, Unai Simon, and Robert Sanchez, Brighton keeper.
From Brighton, yeah.
I mean, I can't believe he's getting called up with Spain. Defenders, they got Jose Gaya, Jordi Alba, Pau Torres of Villarreal, Laporte, Eric Garcia. I mean, Eric Garcia has hardly kicked the ball this whole season.
Yeah, for and then they picked him ahead of
Sergio
Ramos.
Diego Llorente of Leeds, Azpilicueta, and Marcus Llorente of Atletico. And then in midfield, they got Busquets.
Marcus Llorente's a midfielder, though, isn't he?
They put him down as a defender here.
Really? Marcus Llorente
of Atletico, yeah.
So who am I thinking of? Of Atletico? Oh, who's the other Llorente for Atletico?
I'm not sure. But in midfield, they've gone Sergio Busquets, Rodri, Pedri, Thiago Alcantara, Koke, and Fabian Ruiz of Napoli. And then up front, they've gone Dani Olmo, Oyarzabal of Sociedad, Gerard Moreno, Alvaro Morata, Ferran Torres, Adama Traore, and Pablo Sarabia.
Marcus Llorente is a midfielder. Yeah, he's not a defender. I don't know why they have him down as defenders. He's definitely a midfielder. He's actually been one of Atletico's best players. He's got 12 goals this season from midfield. So like he's a good, really good player. I thought I was wrong, but they got some good players, but nowhere near previous Spain squads.
Oh, of
you
course.
Got to say
When they won back-to-back World Cups and
but it's
Euros, you know.
Like they used to have the best players at Madrid and Barca and stuff, and it's just not there anymore, unfortunately for them. So it does seem like they're at a stage where they're kind of rebuilding their national side in a way. They still have, obviously, they've got a lot of talent. Gerard Moreno, 30 goals this season. Ferran Torres has been decent in fits and spurts for City this season. Pau Torres for Villarreal's good. Rodri's obviously great. Koke's great. Dani Olmo's been good for Leipzig. So they do have quality, and obviously they're going to be difficult whoever comes up against them. But they're just not a patch. They don't have that fear factor as they used to have. That's 100%.
Yeah, completely agree. And last but not least, let's look at Holland, the Netherlands, as Steven Bergwijn misses out. And, you know, he's normally in every Holland squad as well, which is an interesting one. And who they've taken as their forward line is Steven Berghuis of Feyenoord, Cody Gakpo of PSV, who I've never heard of, Luke de Jong of Sevilla, Doniel Marlon of PSV,
Donny Milan,
Memphis Depay of Lyon, Quincy Promes of Ajax, and Weghorst of Wolfsburg.
So I mean, obviously Weghorst is really good. I mean, looking at that lineup, he'll definitely be disappointed he didn't make it, because I think
Donny van der Beek has been called up and he hasn't kicked a ball this year.
Yeah, I think he'll be really disappointed, because I don't think there's anyone there where he'll probably be thinking I understand why I have made it. Like I'm definitely not as good as them, because I think Berghuis, I remember he was at Watford and he was really poor at Watford and he really struggled badly there. So like, and also Cody Gakpo from PSV, he'll be thinking I should have got in ahead of him. But to be fair, the other players, Depay, Weghorst, Malen, and Quincy Promes, all pretty good players. So. He can't have too many complaints there, but the other places he's probably thinking, if only I had a bit better of a season at Spurs, I would have been making it.
If he scored one of those chances against Liverpool.
Yeah, honestly, he probably would have made it. And I feel bad for him, because he's had such a hard season and he's clearly taken a lot of confidence knocks, and you know, people berating him on social media and then it ends
his confidence more.
And especially, you know, he ended the season with a good game against Villa, and then he's might thinking maybe this performance could give me a shot, but doesn't make it, unfortunately.
It wasn't even against Villa, it was against Wolves, no?
No, Villa. He scored against Villa, didn't he?
Villa.
So he'll be bitterly disappointed, I'm sure, but hopefully it can spur him on into next season and trying to prove people wrong.
Let's hope so. But that is your roundup of the Tottenham's players in the Euros, the Tottenham players out of the Euros. We went through every single country where a Tottenham player could have been featuring, but only 8 players going to the Euros for Tottenham.
We used to have a whole squad of players going to the international tournament, so it says a lot about how we've been this season, that only 8 of our players are going, but that's you know, it's deserved.
It's the sad reality of it, isn't it?
It is deserved. We've got 2 captains there, no? Lloris and Kane? No more captain.
Is Toby not a captain of Belgium?
I don't think so, because it was Kompany.
Jan, I think, is the captain now.
I think it's Jan. So I think 2 captains there.
So 3 captains. Jan's ours.
Exactly.
But look, that is your roundup. Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on the Spurs players that have made it, that have missed out. Let me know in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.